Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. Again, videos today for modern dating here. I'm trying out this new format. This is what I use for Chow Time 2.0, or starting to use for Chow Time 2.0, so I thought I'd use one video on here and get some criticisms on here. If you guys can just, comment how you guys like this.
A couple of months ago, my husband decided to tell me that he wasn't happy anymore. That didn't make him happy.
He must have been really unhappy.
And I was a bit like, yeah, we can work this out, it'll be fine. And then it came to, I made him feel unseen and unheard, and I made him a sub-character in our life together. Mate, I'm a sub-character in our life. We've got 4 children. They're the main characters. That's just the way it is.
See, this is where the argument comes in, like who's more important, like the kids or the husband? I've always said the kids because that's just how I've always felt. But as I do more content and, go through things and logically think through things, well, my husband makes sense too. Like why people argue it. Because if he's upset and he's not working hard to keep the family stable and keep leading the family does fall apart also. The kids, they're very important. This is why I've always put kids in front, because I feel kids are important. But are they really more important than the person that handles everything and takes care of everything? I don't think so.
So anyway, last night I've done the begging again. It's about the 5th time I've done it. And asked him to choose between me and her, and he chose her. So, can't get more clearer than that.
Her husband felt unseen and expressed himself, but her response was likely one of the reasons he packed his things and left. She told him there was nothing she could do because their children were the main characters, meaning everyone else, including him, came second.
See, this is, again, where I can see my mistake of when I put kids in front. Yes, because everybody else does come second, especially the husband. That's where I feel like I made a mistake of my choice. But it also was a logical choice for me to pick kids, because I feel kids are so important. If you don't put kids above everything, I feel like people become a lot more selfish in the relationship towards me instead of the kids. So it was a very hard, logical thing for me to think through. And this one really made it solidify that, I think the husband should be the forefront of everything and then the kids.
At that point, he realized nothing was going to change anytime soon, so he packed his bag and left. He likely wasn't willing to remain in a relationship where he felt invisible, despite being the one taking care of everyone. What made the situation even more interesting was that she later begged him to come back, but he refused.
Yeah, so here's the thing. My husband works 2 jobs, and he works 64 hours a week.
Damn! 64 hours a week? That's a full-time job plus a part-time job put together in 1 week. Jeez.
Has 1 day off. And within that 1 day, I want him to go outside with us. Me,
really?
Sophie, and him. And I want us to have a family day. But he wants to stay home and spend time with us. But I don't want that. I want us to be outside.
You've never worked in your life or something, girl. The man is working 64 hours a week to keep you as a stay-at-home mother or whatever it is. And you still want this man to do things during the 1 day he has off that he can relax and hang out with his family?
And I'm upset with him because we don't go outside and do activities as a family.
You want to go outside because you want to live that Instagram lifestyle like everybody sees. Why don't you just spend quality time with your family?
Am I being reasonable, or am I being a bad wife?
She doesn't truly understand what it means to be with someone who pays for everything. You can't have it all. At some point, she'll have to decide. You either have someone who covers all the expenses but has limited free time, or someone to share the bills with and has more time to spend with the family.
Yep.
She needs a job, period. I would never ever let my husband work 2 jobs. We both work, but he's still the provider in our household. Provider doesn't mean he has to pay for 100% of everything.
That's a damn good comment, right? Everybody thinks provider, you have to provide everything.
Someone told her to get a job to lighten his load, and she just said no.
Yep.
I don't think a lot of women realize what being with a provider man entails. It's like this sometimes. Sometimes it's lonely. My husband is determined to not let work consume him and fights exhaustion. I feel like us women just complain. I'm talking about myself too. Either you want him to pay for everything or you're going 50-50. Literally, shut up.
My girl. I'm glad she took a little bit of accountability on her own.
They want a man who has bread and a lot of free time.
Yeah.
Acting like money just grows.
Which is no man, really, other than like trappers and like scam artists. Those are the ones that have a lot of time and have money. But the true people that earn their money, the hard way, the legit way, usually don't have a lot of time.
Was on trees. Being a provider man is a thankless job. We don't know their personal circumstances because she didn't share much about them. But based on the hours he's working, it appears she is a
64.
stay-at-home wife. And if that's the case, she should be grateful that her husband has put himself in this position to maintain their household. She should understand that going out is likely the last thing anyone working 2 jobs and putting in that many hours each week would want to do on their day off. That time is meant for rest and recharging for the upcoming week, something she needs to take into consideration. I believe she's upset with him for no real reason.
Again, I think modern dating here, I think it's more of that Instagram lifestyle. All of her friends around her are posting trips and all the things they're doing. And she's just staying at home and stuck at home, not able to do anything. I'm sure that's how she feels.
If he had wanted to spend his day off at a bar with friends or doing something similar, that would be a different story.
Correct.
But he planned to spend time with his family in a way that still allowed him to rest. Yet somehow, she doesn't understand his reasoning. She has found herself a provider, someone who is willing to sacrifice for his family. But instead of appreciating all that he's already doing, she wants more from him.
Yep.
Based on her
Adam and Eve.
video, it
Classic.
seems she feels he isn't doing enough simply because he isn't taking them out. At this point, I think getting a job would solve most of their issues. It would help her understand where he's coming from and would also give him more free time.
My name's Caroline. A couple of months ago, my husband decided to tell me that he wasn't happy anymore. That didn't make him happy. And I was a bit...
Not shocked.
Yeah, we can work this out, it'll be fine. And then it came to, I made him feel unseen and unheard, and I made him a sub-character in our life together. Mate, I'm a sub-character in our life. We've got 4 children. They're the main characters. That's just the way it is.
Then she got upset when he decided to pack his things and leave. She likely expected him to be the main provider, but she didn't use the same energy when it comes to how she treated him. In that department, he was placed in 2nd or 3rd position. What many people don't realize is that when a man reaches the point of verbalizing his feelings, it usually means he's nearing his breaking point.
That's what I said. The man must be miserable.
And that's exactly what happened. Maybe they would still be together if she had truly listened to what he was trying to express. All he needed was a bit more attention.
It does seem
But
that way.
unfortunately, she didn't see it that way. In the end, she left him with 2 choices: deal with being overlooked or walk away. And we all know how that story ended.
But I thought, we had quite a healthy bedroom. Obviously not enough.
Like, women really think just sex solves everything. It does fix a good chunk of stuff. I'm not saying it doesn't, but it doesn't solve everything.
I've got 4 children and I work, and
Oh, you do work, okay.
I'm knackered. So I thought I was doing quite well in the bedroom, but obviously not enough. So
Based on what she chose to focus on, it seems she tried to rely on that alone to keep her
Correct.
husband. She assumed that since things were going well in that area, there was no need to do more. He already had enough. But her experience proved otherwise. Most men need much more than just a good time in the bedroom to feel truly fulfilled in a relationship, and that's something she just learned. She still has a lot to learn when it comes to understanding what we truly need in a relationship.
Yeah, he told me that. And then I find out that he's, after he moved out, apparently, he's seeing someone else. Oh, happened so
Makes
quickly,
sense.
didn't it? So quickly. So you're telling me there was no conversation, there was no,
I mean, I think it's very similar to how women are when a woman finally voices her concern or whatever, she's already checked out. Same thing with him. He's finally voiced his concern. He's already been through so much. He's already checked out.
You might not have had no physical intimacy with her, but there was definitely emotional intimacy with her. And,
Which he was lacking from you.
Yeah, things got really nasty, really quick.
He was probably looking for someone who would make him feel like the main character, and it seems he found that person. As she mentioned, it happened rather quickly. This is yet another example of why staying in a relationship where your energy isn't being reciprocated is a waste of time. There is always someone else out there willing to offer what you're looking for, just as it happened in his case.
True.
It's clear she got comfortable and assumed he didn't have many options, but he proved her wrong. Another woman was right there, ready and willing to take her spot.
Yeah, it's just been really fucking hard. He's used my mental health against me. Granted, I put all his fishing gear, which was about 10 grand, out on the drive and told him to pick it
10 grand of fishing gear? Diabolical.
up, knowing that he was in London with that. And it went missing, but, it was on my private drive, and just so he didn't pick it up in time, so ain't my problem.
So she knew he was out of town and still chose to leave his $10,000 worth of fishing gear on the driveway. And now it's gone.
Whoever found that fishing gear, shout outs to you, I guess.
The ironic part is that she tells herself it was stolen because he didn't pick it up in time, even though she knew he couldn't have as he wasn't around. Did you notice her facial expression when she talked about it? There was a clear look of regret on her face. It was obvious she knew that wasn't the right thing to do.
And I'm sure he blew up and just made everything much worse for you.
But, we live and learn. So anyway, last night, I've done the begging again. It's about the 5th time I've done it.
You'd think the begging is going to work after you destroyed $10,000 worth of fishing gear. Or, not destroyed. Technically destroyed because it's gone, so.
Should have got the hint the first time, shouldn't I? But no. Got no self-respect at that point. So, done the begging again. And asked him to choose between me and her, and he chose her. So, can't get more clearer than that.
I'm genuinely confused. Did she really expect him to leave the woman who's likely making him feel like the main character?
Right.
Just to go back to her, knowing he'd be in 2nd or even 3rd place again?
Again, after you destroyed $10,000 worth of fishing gear. I can't get over that. That's a lot of money, guys.
Why would he do that?
It's like a lot of money and a lot of time. It's just like someone trying to destroy a whole shed of tools. For one, that's a crazy amount of money and a crazy amount of time to acquire those tools, because you don't need all those tools at once. No, you get one tool at a time when you're doing certain jobs, and then you're like, oh, you know what? It's finally time to get me one of these. And then you get the tool, sits in the tool shed, you use it every so often, right? But it's equals to a lot amount of money and time that was acquired to get these tools. Or
the guy is probably happy
gear.
in his new relationship, so he has no valid reason to end it and return to someone he wasn't happy with. Someone he opened up to, who told him to just deal with it because that's how it is. What made it even more surprising was when she told him to choose between her and the other woman. Did she honestly think he'd choose her? I really don't understand her logic. He already knows what to expect in a relationship with her, and that's exactly why he left. He wasn't fulfilled, so why would he leave someone new who might actually meet his needs just to return to someone who chose to ignore his feelings?
Should have said that from the start, but you can't get more clearer than that. So, after probably about 2 hours sleep, my son's really poorly at the moment. I've kind of woken up with a bit of a clearer picture of what my life is now, and he's not in it.
No, you actually you have regret. Interesting. You don't hear this regretful voice too often.
He's in the kids' lives, but he's not in my life. And that is the end of my marriage. So,
Hands down, favorite part about being divorced? There is never an angry man inside my house. Never.
Yeah, now you're just a lonely woman.
I never wake up to a grumpy man in my house. I never come home to an angry man in my house. There are just no angry men in this house. And I'm never giving that up.
I know everyone heard what she just said, but she shouldn't stop there. No one reaches that kind of mental state without a reason, and that's just reality. We need
I was gonna say, why is he angry all the time?
more context to better understand why her husband was unhappy in the relationship. A lot of people make videos like this, trying to paint a certain image of their ex without offering the details we need to fully grasp where the real issues came from. Was she a perfect wife, and he magically became an angry man? The truth is, every action triggers a reaction to some extent.
True.
So what did she do or say that led him to that point? That's the question most people are really curious about. I assume she didn't meet or marry an angry man. So what changed? What happened during their marriage that caused him to become someone different from the man he once was?
You probably realize how miserable of a person she is.
That's what she should be talking about. And honestly, it would probably be a lot more insightful and compelling. As a man, I can say with confidence that just as she's glad he's no longer there, he's likely
also
feeling
glad.
the exact same way. He's on the other side now, experiencing that same sense of relief.
Hopefully you guys like this new format. I think it looks better to me. It obviously doesn't have my banner and really all the Instagram stuff, which I don't really care for it. I only put that stuff in there because I had a lot of blank space that I didn't know what to put there. This just made it seem better with the blank space because it's actually my background that's the blank space. You guys let me know. I might be dumb. If you like the old one or this one better, let me know. And I'm probably going to do like 7 videos in this format, and then we'll see how it goes. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. I'll catch you guys next time.